Being the President of the United States is often hailed as the pinnacle of achievement, a zenith of power and influence unmatched in history. Yet beneath the grandeur lies despair and frustration. Imagine a life where privacy is a luxury long forgotten, where every action is scrutinized under the unforgiving glare of the public eye. Late-night talk hosts gleefully poke fun at your expense, turning your struggles into punchlines for the world's entertainment. The question lingers, why would anyone willingly subject themselves to such relentless scrutiny and perpetual captivity? Today, I'll take you on a journey to finally answer the question, why being President of the United States truly sucks. In order to truly get a taste of what it is like to be the President of the United States, I need you to step into the whirlwind life of President Biden, where each day unfolds like a tightly choreographed dance of duty and drudgery. Rise and shine, more like rise and grind. There's no lounging around for the leader of the free world. With the crack of dawn, he's summoned from the depths of sleep. The luxury of hitting snooze, forever lost in the corridors of power. Forget about lazy mornings and cozy blankets, those are reserved for the history books now. But wait, the day's just getting started. Next stop, the gym. And we're not talking about leisurely strolls on the treadmill here. It's a full-on workout regimen that'd put even the toughest drill sergeants to shame. The president isn't allowed to let himself go. Oh no, not when the fate of a nation hangs in the balance. So, he pumps iron, sweats buckets, all while silently cursing the day he ever decided to run for office. And breakfast, well, forget about those delicate brunches with eggs Benedict, quiche, waffles, and freshly made French toast. There's no time for such indulgences in the fast-paced world of presidential politics. Instead, it's a rushed affair, gulping down a protein shake between glances at the morning news. Because, as they say, knowledge is power, and the president can't afford to be caught off guard, even if it means sacrificing his beloved bacon and eggs. And just when you think the morning madness is over, think again. The clock strikes 9 a.m. and there's no escaping the gravitational pull of the Oval Office. With a heavy sigh and a wary heart, the president takes his place behind the resolute desk, bracing himself for another day of high-stakes decisions and endless meetings. But before that can even happen, there's the not-so-short stroll from the residence to the Oval Office. And this stroll isn't like your ordinary morning walk. It's a tense march under the watchful eye of the Secret Service, with helicopters circling overhead like vultures waiting for their prey. Just in case you forgot that, as the US President, your life is at risk every waking hour of the day. A rogue ex-spy, a terrorist assassin, an enemy country's highly trained killer? Anybody could be out there hunting for you any second. Sounds delightful, doesn't it? Finally, just after 9 a.m., he arrives at the Oval Office ready to dive headfirst into the maelstrom of presidential responsibilities. Phone calls, meetings, and security briefings blur together into a chaotic symphony of urgency and anxiety. And because breakfast was little more than a distant memory, the president relies on a stash of sweet treats to keep his energy levels from plummeting into oblivion. But there's no time to linger over lunch either. In the world of presidential dining, pepperoni pizza and hamburgers are mere fantasies. Instead, it's a light, carefully curated meal of salad and grilled chicken, washed down with a decidedly unexciting Gatorade or Coke Zero. And if time is particularly tight, it's a humble peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a protein bar on the go. Because even the leader of the free world can't escape the tyranny of a busy schedule. And as the afternoon wears on, the pace shows no signs of slowing down. More meetings, more phone calls, and more decisions looming on the horizon. It's a relentless onslaught of responsibility, with the weight of the nation's future bearing down on his shoulders. Every choice, every word spoken, carries the potential to shape the course of history, a burden that few can comprehend and even fewer can bear. But despite the stress, the anxiety, and the constant fear of making a wrong move, the president soldiers on, because that's what being President of the United States is all about. Navigating the treacherous waters of leadership with unwavering resolve, no matter the cost. After a whirlwind day of meetings with the vice president, top-secret intelligence briefings, and high-stakes discussions with key officials, the president finally wraps up his official duties around 7 or 8 p.m. Or so he hopes. Back at home, there's a brief respite as he catches dinner with his family, relishing in the fleeting moments of domestic bliss. But alas, the tranquility is short-lived. As the evening wears on, the demands of the presidency continue to loom large. Advisors buzz his phone with urgent updates on the latest news developments, pulling him back into the fray even as the rest of the world winds down for the night. And just when he thinks he can steal a moment of peace, it's time to dive into his briefing book for the next day, ensuring he's prepared to hit the ground running come morning. And then, finally, it's time for bed. But even as exhaustion threatens to pull him under, there's no time for indulgence. No YouTube marathons or Netflix binges here. Every precious minute of sleep is a commodity to be savored. A small reprieve before the cycle begins anew. Because tomorrow, like every day before it, promises another round of relentless challenges and unyielding responsibilities. Such is the life of President Biden with every other U.S. president, a never-ending dance between duty and rest, with no respite in sight. The weight of leading the world's foremost superpower is not just a burden of policy and diplomacy, it's a crucible that exacts a toll on the very essence of those who dare to bear it. From the hallowed halls of the White House to the far-reaching corners of global power, the stress of the presidency has left its indelible mark on those who have held the highest office. President Obama, once youthful and vibrant, aged before our eyes during his tenure, his once dark hair now flecked with the unmistakable hue of gray. And now it seems that President Biden, too, is succumbing to the relentless march of time and responsibility. Recent reports paint a concerning picture of a leader grappling with the weight of his duties, a leader whose memory falters and whose words betray signs of strain. Such revelations underscore the harsh reality of the presidency, a reality where the pressures of leadership can exact a profound toll on even the most stalwart of individuals. So, what have we learned about being president of the U.S.? Firstly, there's a lack of freedom. The president may be the most powerful person in the world, but that power comes at the cost of personal autonomy. Secret Service agents shadow their every move, ensuring safety at the expense of privacy. Even the simplest tasks, like using the bathroom, become public spectacles under the watchful eye of the security detail. Every word, every deed is under a microscope. There's no room for error and no margin for mistakes. Even the most innocuous slip-up can become front-page news, magnifying the scrutiny to levels few can comprehend. And then there's the constant campaigning. The pursuit of re-election consumes a significant portion of a president's time, diverting focus from governing to fundraising and politicking. But perhaps most daunting of all is the weight of decision-making. The fate of nations hangs in the balance with each choice, from matters of war and peace to domestic policies affecting millions of lives. The president may have advisors and experts, but the ultimate responsibility lies squarely on their shoulders, a burden that few can truly comprehend. So, for those who romanticize the presidency as the ultimate dream job, think again. It's a role fraught with sacrifice, stress, and unparalleled responsibility. A far cry from the idyllic image painted by the outside world. After learning all this, would you still want to be the US president? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.